Welcome into the MASN All Access Studios. I'm Annie Klaff, along with MASN insider Brendan Mortensen. We're starting off with a new segment, maybe to be consistent month to month or week to week. But basically, I'm going to give Brendan a series of questions that he doesn't know beforehand, and he only has 30 seconds to answer each one. Brendan?
Yeah, we're hoping this segment is going to continue. I would imagine fans will probably like it because the idea behind this segment was to get me to shut up because I usually ramble for a lot longer than 30 seconds. So if we can keep me within a time frame, I think people would appreciate it.
It's by design.
Yeah.
So and name suggestions are welcomed. But the first question, you ready?
I'm ready.
Gut reaction to the 5-4 win over the Yankees last night.
Yeah, the Orioles needed that one. They have been looking for consistency, and they just haven't really found it this season. Monday, you have a great win over the Yankees. Tuesday, you come back, and it's not a great starting pitching performance. And then last night, you still had the chance to win the series, and they do it against a pitcher in Carlos Carrasco who doesn't have a great ERA. It's a good, not fantastic start from Cade Povich. The bullpen looked good. The lineup got into it a little bit. So I think that's a win the Orioles really needed to end the month.
Right, almost on time. That was a good one.
I'm nailing this segment.
You are so far. But yes, no, starting pitching, we talked about it yesterday on the podcast where just a decent outing is needed,
Yep.
and the O's bats will go with it as well. But the next question, Félix Bautista got his 5th save last night against the Yankees. Is he back?
I think he's about 90% there. He is back enough to be a dominant closer, and that is what the Orioles need. He's not quite back to the form from a couple of seasons ago where he's the best reliever in the game, but he is going to get there. The sinker is up to 99, closing in on 100. The slider is even better than it was a couple of seasons ago, and the splitter looks really, really good. That's the big pitch for him. We know he can touch 100, but if the splitter is working, then Félix Bautista is working. So I'm going to say yes, 95% back, he's getting there.
And you just continue that in hopes to move that way, especially with recovery purposes. Next question. Impressions of Ramon Laureano. He had a big night last night in defense. He's been proving himself at the bat a little bit, but impressions, is he underrated or as advertised?
That's tough because I think you knew what you were getting with Ramon Laureano, which is somebody who was going to hit lefties really well and play good defense. The bat is coming along a little bit. We've seen it over his past 10 games or so. I'm going to say a little underrated because I think he's a spark plug off the bench. It's not somebody that you were expecting consistent starts from day in and day out, but with injuries in the outfield to Colton Cowser and Tyler O'Neill, you've needed him to step up, and he has done just that over his last 10, 12 games.
Another right on time one. You're crushing this, Brendan. Okay, recently there were a bunch of different roster moves and injured list transactions.
Yeah.
Emmanuel Rivera was brought up, but should Coby Mayo have been brought up instead?
That's a tough question because if you are just looking at the numbers, Coby Mayo has been really, really good in AAA Norfolk. He's one of the best prospects in the game. And I think despite having a slow start in the big leagues last year, he can definitely help this team. I would also anticipate that Jordan Westburg has a small stint on the injured list. So you're weighing, do we want Coby Mayo up here because he can help the big league roster right away? Or is it not worth bringing him up for what you are hoping is just a 10-day stint for Jordan Westburg? So yeah, talent-wise, Coby Mayo, I think he is going to contribute this year, but you don't know if it's worth bringing him up for such a short period of time.
Right, especially because Mayo needs as much time as he can get to prove himself at the plate, especially after last season. Next question, obviously Cedric Mullins, Ryan O'Hearn, lots of veterans have been able to kind of lead this clubhouse this season, and most notably just because of their age and experience. But are Adley, Rutman, and Gunnar Henderson faces of this franchise? Are they doing enough right now for this club?
Yeah, I think you would say they need to step up a little bit offensively, right? They would tell you the same thing. A lot of Adley Rutschman's underlying metrics are really good. Same can be said for Gunnar Henderson. He is hitting the ball really hard. There's something to be said for Adley and Gunnar kind of being the faces of the franchise versus Mullins and O'Hearn, who are a little bit older, more veteran presences who have been around the block a little bit more, right? Gunnar and Adley are going to continue to grow into their roles in this Orioles clubhouse, and I don't think there should be anything made of the fact that Mullins and O'Hearn are the ones stepping up versus Adley and Gunnar. Mullins and O'Hearn are the veterans. That's why they're here. This is part of the reason that they're in this clubhouse. So I think Adley and Gunnar, their play is going to continue to step up, but I think they're doing what they need to do in the clubhouse.
And hopefully with some momentum from the series win over the Yankees, the bats can just keep going.
Yeah.
But same with pitching. Obviously, the storyline of the season has been injured pitchers, and it was like that last season as well. There's a number of guys that are supposed to come back hopefully soon, like Zach Eflin. We're not really sure on Grayson Rodriguez, Kyle Bradish right now, but rank this upcoming rotation once you get guys back, like those three that I mentioned, comparatively to right now.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough. I mean, all right, I feel myself going over the 30 seconds, so I'm trying to keep it under here. I mean, Tomoyuki Sugano has been, as advertised, he is exactly what you wanted him to be, and even more. Cade Povich has been solid and consistent outside of one blow-up start. Those two you feel really good about. Of course, Zach Eflin is still going to be your number one. We're not sure where Grayson Rodriguez is going to fit in and what that timetable looks like. Kyle Gibson, it was one start. I'm not writing the book on Kyle Gibson's season there. I think he's going to come back and be consistent. Outside of that, Brandon Young, I think he is getting better from start one to start two, so we'll see there. But, of course, Eflin at the top, Tomo and Cade Povich have looked really good. And I think Dean Kramer is going to turn things around, too. He's a notorious slow starter. He'll come back.
And you see Kyle Bradish impacting there at all, too?
Hope so. Fingers crossed.
Fingers
I mean, when
crossed.
he comes back, that is one of the best pitchers in the American League. So the Orioles could certainly use him.
Could be quite the shift.
Yeah.
All right, the last question for this segment, this edition, the first of these editions.
Yeah.
So the last one, in your own terms, break down the infamous $100 Heston Kjerstad steak analogy.
Yeah, that is one of the best answers that Heston Kjerstad has given. It is right up there with starting every answer with "for sure." I love Heston Kjerstad. He is the man. Well, look, you give $100 to a steakhouse when you go. You think you're getting good value for the steak. The steakhouse thinks they're getting good value because they get $100. Of course I have it locked down. It is arguably the best quote that an Orioles player has given over the last 2 years. It's a gem, and I'm going to use it in as many social posts as I possibly can.
Yeah, well, that'll do it for this first edition of a 30-second breakdown with MASN Insider.
It's tentatively called Brendan, Please Shut Up.
Yeah, so
if you have any better names, let us know.
Yeah, we are more than willing to accept those better names.